With the tertiary alcohol, we have a problem. Remember when we do this, we have to take off basically an 8. That's what allows us to get that double bond with that O. The problem here is we don't have an H. So we're not going to be able to get an H off of these guys. To get that H off and get that bond down there, that would have too many bonds for this carbon. So it can't happen with a tertiary alcohol. That's a tertiary carbon, remember, is a carbon that has a functional group and is bonded to other carbons. So that's no reaction. So if they ask you to distinguish between a tertiary alcohol and something else, you could try this reaction and it won't work with the tertiary alcohol. If they ask you to do find the difference between a primary and a secondary alcohol, you could do the acidified dichromate to get the aldehyde and then do the reflux to get the carboxyl. With this, with the secondary, it's in here. It ends here with the ketone. Now you may have been, I told you that this OH, like where are we getting that from? Well, take a look at the mechanism here a little bit. So here is that dichromate. And that dichromate has an OH, actually has 2 OHs on it. So what ends up happening to get that hydrogen off of the oxygen here is basically OH comes off and attacks it, and that makes H2O. What that then does is that now we have that chromium, and that's going to come in and basically bond with this temporarily. And then whenever that another OH or that H2O comes in and attracts that H, remember we're in acidified solution, so that's going to make H3O plus. And when that happens, the electron for this bond comes into here, and then this goes back, and that's how we get that double bond. Now, again, I don't think you'd ever have to show them this. And like I said, I may be going too deep into it or whatnot, but that's the reaction mechanism for that. So I know from looking at questions, you do need to know like a primary in acidified dichromate will go to an aldehyde. And they do want you to know that this bright orange color
turns to a green one.
Becomes green. I do know that they want you to know what reflux is. I think it's not been in a question that I've seen, but everything says make sure that you understand reflux. By cooling this down as it vaporizes, again, this has the lowest boiling point, so it will go out first. It has the lowest boiling point because the alcohol has hydrogen bonding and the carboxyl group has hydrogen bonding. This does not have hydrogen bonding because it doesn't have an H attached to that O. So then what happens is as we cool that back down and we heat it up, it gives it a chance to undergo this reaction. And that is the formation of the carboxylic acid from the aldehyde.
All right.
All right. In this note, again, it isn't drawn out well enough, I think, as the diagram with everything because it's just tight. Hey, quit pushing on that. I will hit your butt. If we take a look here, let me see here real quick. So here we get here we go. I'm going to go ahead and draw it out. So there we get ethanol. And if we then have this go through the reflux with the ethanol, here's the ethanol to the ethanol, right? This was orange. Now we're seeing that CR3 plus, which is green. With the ethanol, if we put this through reflux, we get ethanoic acid or acetic acid or what we call vinegar. Vinegar, remember, is a mixture of ethanoic acid and water. And then it goes down through here and it talks about if you leave wine out too long exposed to air, it turns to vinegar because of a bacterial action versus the oxidizing by chemical reaction, the biological oxidization. It's also what they use for breathalyzers. I think they put this in here because they want to write fancy questions like, during the breathalyzer reaction of blah, blah, and blah, blah. Just keep in mind, like, you basically need to see what the chemistry is going on. You know, a bag containing crystals of orange acetified potassium dichromate, when they blow the alcohol in there, then it would turn green. Now this is, you are ridiculous. This is, yeah. Stop the chemistry, play with me. This is obviously one of the first breathalyzers ever, because now all of those things are digitized, right? And they use different resistors and electricity and the binding agents of that. There we go. Now we use infrared technology for better accuracy. So that's probably the IR spectrum that we still never got to figure out how to read. So that's the basics of that. Again, if you're looking at these notes, they keep bringing up that reflex stuff. So that is highlighted or whatever. We've already covered primary, secondary versus tertiary. Again, primary, and this is in this typed up note packet I've given you as well. A primary, remember, becomes an aldehyde, a carboxylic acid. And then secondary alcohols become ketones. Stop it. Next time we're going to get to esterification reactions. And then there's that page I was wondering where it was, the nucleophilic substitution. And then we're going to get to a substitution with benzene. And then that probably will be what we call the
semester.
The semester. You got it. Maybe over break you could get that second paper 1 done. If you can't, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Other than that, I think that was a good class. Do you want me to send you pictures of my handwritten work?
I took quite a few screenshots, but it's probably going to be easier if you maybe just send me them.
Yep, I'll do that. Unfortunately, I forgot to press record until about halfway through. So you can check out what I'll post what we did on there, what I got. Next time I'll have to remember to record for sure. Have a great day.
I do have one question, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. I was trying to get done.
Yeah. This is more about AP Chem.
Yeah.
and I don't know if you mentioned this and maybe like it just like went in one ear and went out the other, but do you know, have you talked at all about the final yet?
Yeah, so the final is 80 questions. They are all multiple choice. And it is the final exam that Mr. Verbrugge left me.
I don't know. I just heard some stuff about like say for example, some teachers are
You have an A.
like if you have an A, you don't have to take it. But
They didn't want us to do that for the AP Chem course because of the switchover.
all right.
Yeah, so it's 80 questions. To tell you the truth, I think it's easier than the X final. But